I noticed that they are agitating it, so it's required agitating. You cannot just apply it.
Oh no, you can apply it if you saw the first video, he sprayed an area. Well, it may not be on here. The video you saw, and normally he had a high pressure pump because he didn't know how far he was going to spray it out. He actually ran out of OSC2 in there, and he brought down a little pump-up hand sprayer, and they poured more oil. It went on the shoreline. They let it set for about 5 minutes, and then he just took the pump-up hand sprayer and sprayed it. And the same thing happened that you saw here without any pressure. And it also, because it got on some grass and sand, you could see when they sprayed OSC2 on there, after 2 or 3 minutes, the oil just lifted up and broke into little particles. Now, the demonstration was performed for the UAE oil company. And apparently in the Gulf, they have satellites that take pictures if you have a spill. And they wanted to make sure that they had tested OSC2 and had already proven to themselves it converts it to CO2 in water, that it's non-toxic. But what they also wanted to see is that they could eliminate their fines from the satellite pictures. So they wanted to see the oil break up immediately, and then and so that's why we did the demonstration for them.
Is it UAE?
It was in the UAE.
Where, in Dubai or?
In Dubai.
Have you done any trial in Kuwait?
We've done some testing for KOC. There's a project called the Oil Lakes. I don't know if you've heard of that. You know, when Saddam Hussein poured all that oil. The KNPG or KNPC, the Kuwait National Focal Group, they contacted me in 2010 and asked us to pre-qualify for this. And so we gave them all our financials, and they only gave us 4 days. We got it all in. They pre-qualified us for that spill. And I've been to Kuwait working with a man named Dr. Youssef, who's one of the lead guys on the Kuwait National Focal Point Group. And they've assured us when they get everything, all the logistics worked out and everything, that they're going to give us a significant portion of that cleanup. And that's you know, a massive oil spill out in the desert. I think it's 1.49 million cubic meters.
You say 2010?
Yeah, we started dealing with him in 2010.
But I thought the oil from the Gulf War was already
20 years old.
20 years old.
Oh, it is. And the other thing that I
so
didn't know.
How you will clean it? I mean, it's in the sand, I guess.
It's in the sand, and it's also to cool the heads when they put the TNT to put the fire out. They reversed pipelines and actually brought seawater in, so you've got this extremely weathered oil with dried salt water in it. And the nice thing about OSC2 is that because we can enhance bacteria from either salt water or fresh water, we're just going to use the same pipeline to mix OSC2 because you've already got salt there. Freshwater bacteria won't work. But what we have to do is dig it up and lay it on plastic. And we've given them a program and a plan to do that. And the other thing they let me know right when I was leaving the U.S. to come to the first meeting, they said it also has unexploded ordnance in it. So we've had to work with a group to scan the thing to see, you know, to pull any unexploded ordnance out of it before we actually start digging.
Can I use OC2? You call it OC2, am I right?
Yes.
Okay. Can I use it as a protection, spraying it on a shoreline for hotels, amenity beaches? I mean, if I expected an oil to hit that area.
Yeah.
And how long it will take to react? I mean, the oil will go there in 5 hours, 6 hours. Can I spray it in 5 hours before the oil hit the area?
Well, there's 2 ways to handle this. If you can spray the leading edge, whether it's going to a beach or a mangrove or estuary, once OSC2's been applied, in about 5 to 10 minutes, the adhesion properties are broken down. So even if the oil comes ashore, it's not going to stick to anything. It'll just go back out with the tide. It'll be hard to see, though, by the time it gets to the shoreline because it's broken into little particles and we make it float. If you have a spill that's really close to the shoreline and you may not be able to get the entire front edge of the oil spill covered with OSC2, you can spray the shoreline and it won't stick to it. One of the demonstrations that we've done, and it's on our website, we'll take a Q-tip and dip it in OSC2 and then dip it in crude oil, and the crude oil will just run right off of it. So it won't stick to a cotton Q-tip, it won't stick to anything on the shoreline. But yeah, you can use it either way. just depending on how, how close it is to the shoreline. But if you got enough time to spray the leading edge, you just spray the oil. By the time it gets there, it won't adhere to anything.
But it is not clear to me, is this bacteria or it is actually or it is actually like disinfectant or
No, it's not a disinfectant. It is there's three parts to the product. There's biosurfactants, which we extract biosurfactants from naturally occurring bacteria in our manufacturing process. There's enzymes, which we produce in our manufacturing process, and then there's a nutrient system that grows bacteria. So when you first apply OSC2, the biosurfactants start attacking the molecular structure of the oil naturally and breaking it down. And then the enzymes form the binding sites, and then the nutrients are there to grow the bacteria that's in the water or in the soil. And we mix OSC2 with that water. So that's where we get the bacteria from to eat up the hydrocarbons once they're detoxified from the biosurfactants.
But once the oil finish, how do I know these nice bacteria will not just continue and cause another problem?
Because they're naturally occurring, and once you deplete its food source, it can't survive, it'll die off. And on our website, we did a cleanup for Texaco, and it was on a 3.5 acre pond. So we basically had an outdoor beaker with 5,000 gallons of oil poured onto it, oil leaked out a pipeline. So we have 5,000 gallons of oil on a 3.5 acre pond. The wind pushed the oil to the north, we boomed it off and trapped it, and then sprayed OSC2 on it. And what you see is, over an 18-day period, is you see, initially when they applied it, you see the oil lift off the marsh grass, off the sand, and it sits there and floats. In a couple of days, you see a cast or a shadow of bacteria grow out over the oil. In about 12 to 13 days, you see the oil clump up. It almost looks like little cotton balls because the oil is disappearing and the bacteria is fighting for the only food source left. At 18 days, there was no oil and no bacteria, and Texaco even went and tested the sediment in the pond and couldn't find, there was non-detect for all hydrocarbons.
Excuse me. Did you take the sample, water sample after the spray?
On this demonstration?
Yes.
No, we didn't. I mean, on our website, we have $2.5 million worth of tests, and most of them were done by third party, either by an oil company or by the US EPA, South Korean government, Environment Canada. So we have all those third party tests. So, and we've been doing this 23 years. So we just recently re-performed the EPA NCP listing test for the EPA.
Mm-hmm.
So we have this mass amount of testing. We feel like we've proven in a redundant manner that we will convert it to CO2 and water. So we didn't do any sampling on that. But we've just done so, and we've cleaned up over 18,400 spills. And so, I mean, so we haven't done it, we didn't do any testing, no.
Okay, I would like to know the quality for the water after when you use it.
It's non-potable.
No.
It's non-potable water. It will have no detection of hydrocarbons in it. And you can spray it on your grass and grow grass.
I think we can continue the question there if we don't have any more demonstration here.
Okay.